Let's talk about one of those classic stumbling blocks for pretty much everyone learning Spanish. It's a word we use all the time in English, become. But in Spanish, well, it's not just one word. It's actually a key that unlocks a whole new level of expression.
You know that feeling, right? You're in the middle of a great sentence, you're trying to say something like he became sick or she became a doctor, and then poof, you freeze. You're digging around in your brain for that one perfect Spanish word for become, and you just come up empty.
Hey, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. The reason you can't find that perfect one-to-one translation is, well, because it doesn't exist. There just isn't a single do-it-all verb for to become in Spanish.
But here's the cool part. That's not a flaw in the language. It's a secret superpower. Spanish gives you these amazing tools to be super specific about how a change actually happened. And once you get the hang of it, you'll have that power too. So let's unlock it.
So let's think about this whole become thing as a puzzle. It's not about finding one magic word. It's about learning to pick the right tool for the job.
Think about it like this. In English, our word become is kind of like a hammer. It's a good all-purpose tool. It gets the job done. But Spanish gives you a whole toolbox full of precise instruments. We're going to look at the big ones: ponerse, volverse, hacerse, and a few others. Each one tells a totally different story about the change that's happening.
All right, let's open up that toolbox. The first couple of tools we're going to pull out deal with changes that just sort of happen to you. You know, those sudden shifts in your physical or emotional state.
So at a glance, we've got ponerse, which is all about temporary states, things that come and go. And then you've got volverse, which is for more dramatic, kind of profound shifts. Let's break each one down.
First up, ponerse. Honestly, the easiest way to get this one is to just think of it as the Spanish way of saying to get plus an adjective. You get sick, you get sad. A great little trick to remember it: P for ponerse is for physical or emotional states. The key word here is temporary. If he se puso pálido, he got pale, he's not going to stay that way forever, right?
Now let's look at its partner, volverse. This one is for the bigger, more significant changes. Think of it like to turn into. My little memory trick here is that V for volverse stands for a volatile or very drastic change. When someone se volvió loco, he went crazy. That's a really deep shift. Even becoming a more patient person, me volví más paciente, suggests a deep, lasting change inside you.
And check this out, this is a perfect example of the difference. If you say someone se puso enojado, you just mean he got angry right then, in that moment. It's temporary. But if you say he se volvió enojado, whoa. You're saying something much bigger. You're describing a fundamental personality shift. He has literally turned into an angry person. You see the power in that? That's the superpower right there.
Okay, let's grab the next set of tools from our toolbox. These are for changes you don't just feel, but changes you actively make happen. We're talking effort, ambition, and goals.
So here we have hacerse and llegar a ser. They're both about effort, for sure, but hacerse is more about the conscious choice and process of making something happen. Llegar a ser, on the other hand, really emphasizes that long journey and finally reaching the finish line.
The verb hacer means to make, right? So hacerse is literally about making oneself into something. A good way to remember it: H for hard work. It's perfect for jobs, beliefs, or things you choose. You study for years and then se hizo médico. He made himself a doctor. Or you connect with someone and se hicieron amigos. They became friends through shared effort.
And then we've got llegar a ser. The literal translation is a huge clue here: to arrive at being. It really implies reaching a destination after a long, hard road. Just think L for long-term goal. You don't just become president overnight. Llegó a ser presidente. He came to be president after a lifetime of work. It's all about the payoff at the end of that journey.
All right, time for a bonus tool. What about a change that isn't just emotional or professional, but a complete 100% transformation? Yep, Spanish has a special verb for that too.
This is where convertirse en comes into play. It's related to our word convert, and it means exactly that: to transform into something completely different, changing its fundamental nature.
The classic example is, of course, a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. That's a total physical transformation. But it works figuratively too. A good dream that se convirtió en pesadilla, that turned into a nightmare, has completely changed its entire essence. Phew, okay, we've gone through a lot of tools. So let's pull everything together into one simple, practical cheat sheet so you can pick the right word every single time.
So here it is. Just ask yourself, what kind of change are we talking about? Is it a quick, passing emotion? You're going to grab ponerse. Is it a career that took a lot of work? That's hacerse. A huge, dramatic shift in someone's personality? That's volverse. The end of a long struggle? Llegar a ser. And a total metamorphosis? You've got convertirse en. It's that simple.
And here are those memory aids all in one place. P for physical states, H for hard work, V for volatile changes, and L for long-term goals. This is your mental shortcut to unlocking the right word every time.
So here's the big takeaway. What feels like a tricky complication at first is actually a gift. Spanish lets you pack the entire backstory of a change right into your verb choice. You're not just stating a fact, you're telling a much richer, more interesting story.
And let's wrap up with a little bit of encouragement that actually uses one of our new tools. Con práctica te harás un experto. With practice, you'll become an expert. And see, we use hacerse because becoming an expert takes real effort. You don't just happen to become one, you make yourself into one. And now you've got all the tools you need to do just that.